And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at GemPacked cards. This is a game that looks like an app, and lo and behold, it is an app. It's GemPacked on iOS. So this is kind of a game where you're going to be collecting different gem pips to turn them into squares, to turn them into diamonds. It has that artwork that's going to attract people. Obviously, this artwork's very popular because of how many apps it's used in. Let's take a look and see if this is a good card game. There's going to be a certain number of cards that are placed on the table. This is based on the number of players in the game. This is a setup for a 4-player game. You'll notice that there's yellow and blue backed tokens here. There's just a certain number of blue backed tokens that you put into when you're using different number of players of the game. Other than that, there's no difference. Same thing here with the deck of cards. You'll use all the yellow and blue cards for a 4 or 5 player game. You use just the yellow cards for another game. So these cards here are randomly placed here. These cards and these cards are again placed based on the number of players in the game. Now the first thing a player will do on their turn is they will take 2 of these tokens here. So they'll take 2 tokens and they'll put them face up in front of them. If it's an advanced game, you can put one face down and the other face up. So so I got a yellow and a green here. Now that I have these Geminos, I can then spend actions trading these in to get squares and diamonds that are on the board. The problem is, with these 2, I don't really have anything that I can do right now. So maybe on my next turn, I draw these 2. By the way, if you take no actions on your turn, then you can just draw an extra one and have in front of you. So now I have, let's say I got a blue, a yellow, a blue, another blue, blue, and a green. I can trade in 2 of these small pip squeaks here to get a square of the same color. So 2 blues turns into a blue square. If I have 2 blue squares in front of me, I can trade those in for a blue diamond. Yeah, that's worth more points. You can also trade in wilds. These wilds here will replace any color. 2 wilds will get you a wild square. A wild plus 2 different colors will get you a wild square, and 4 different colors will also get you a wild square. Now, this also has the color combinations. If I have a yellow and a blue, here I can trade them in for a green. If I have a blue and a red square in front of me, I can trade them in for the purple diamond. And again, wild squares can be used for anything. You can also, on your turn, break up something. If people have already spent, let's say I have this blue square, I could get rid of the blue square and take back these 2 blues like that. Or I could even take this and take 4 different colors and then use them for other things. But they have to be in the discard pile already so that you can do that. Once you're done buying whatever you want, you can put it in front of you and then it will be replaced. Occasionally, you'll replace it with something like this, which will kill several of the blocks next to it as determined by the players, or you'll draw an asteroid, which gives everybody enough of these pips that they can draw. And really, all the color combinations are shown on this card. So you can see here, for example, these show all the different ways that you can combine the different things, or also split them up later on. Now, I mentioned these up here. There's a certain number of these cards available based on number of players. These are first come, first serve. So the first person to turn in 3 squares of any color can take this diamond, which is worth 6 points. First person to turn in 3 pips can take this sun here, which is worth 1 point. And at the top here are the mega points. You turn these in. So I turn in a green diamond, a red diamond, an orange square, and a multicolor pip. And I'll take this rocket ship, which is worth 11 points. So players are going to try to turn as much stuff as you can on your turn. You'll probably be able to do 1 or 2, and then it goes to the next player. When all the pips are gone, everyone gets 1 final turn, and then all the stuff that you've collected over the course of the game, you simply will add all those points together, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Okay, our work, excellent. Right? It's very fun. I like how the different colors have different facial expressions. So if you have trouble mixing up red and green, still not hard because you can see, okay, the green guys are smirking and the red guys have this cute smile on their face. So colorblind folk will be able to handle that. And the yellow and the blue, the setup, I have to say, was kind of weird. I was like reading through, this is how you set it up for 2 to 3 players. But if you have 4 to 5, do this. Okay. It just seemed like figuring out the number of players and setting up was a little bit more difficult than if you just had said, deal out 10 cards per player or something to that effect. The game itself is simple. I was able to teach this to people very easily. Hey, you collect these pips. You change the pips in for colors. Red and blue make purple. Yellow and blue make green. That sort of thing is good, and it works for kids. And when you get these different combinations, you can turn them in. Now, interestingly enough, many of these point combinations are not as exciting as you might think. For example, this rocket ship here takes 2 purple diamonds, a yellow square, and an orange pip. Well, a yellow square is worth 1 point. Each purple diamond's worth 3. So that's 6. You're turning in 7 points worth of stuff to get 9 points. Okay? That's fine, but you're trying to go for these particular combos. It just was not that exciting to get these points. Getting the squares and then the diamonds is bigger points, but even that, you turn in 2 pips for a square, and those squares are all worth 1 point, but blue squares are much more valuable than green squares because a blue square, 2 blue squares can make a blue diamond, a blue and a yellow square can make a green diamond, a blue and a red square can make a purple diamond, while a green square can only really be turned into a green diamond. So because of that, I think that the numbers are not quite there, and as time goes by, as you turn over to different pips when it's your turn, getting a wild is obviously way better than getting anything else, and then getting a blue, red, and yellow is way better than getting an orange, purple, or green. The primaries are better than the secondaries. Not a huge deal, but in all the playings I've done of this, I haven't found where someone's won because of skill yet. Sure, you can turn stuff in for things, and you can unturn things. The rules like strategy tips. Turn into orange pips, take an orange square, then get rid of that orange square and take a red and yellow pip, and then you have the red and yellow pip to make the other stuff. That's true, but this sort of thing is pretty obvious. I look at my pips and go, what can I buy? That or that. What should I do with these? Buy that or that. Now I can break those up and do it, but it's not like this cool combo thing that you can do. So the game's very light. For kids, it works okay. For adults, even people who were like looking for like a light style game, were just not completely overwhelmed with joy in this one. It's okay. And there's a lot of games out there where you can combine stuff to get things. A very popular one, Splendor. This is kind of like a cool kiddier version of Splendor, and while I'll give it props for the artwork and how easy it is to get into, it didn't seem to offer any real meaningful choices. Most of the stuff was obvious, and it was dominated by the luck of the things you drew, or on your turn, I can finally do a green square. Well, there's no green squares out there. Yes, there's a rule where you can wipe the pile if there's too many diamonds out there, but it always seemed like there's just 1 diamond less than you needed to have out there, and so many times your turn, I'll draw 3 and wait for my next turn. And so the game could offer less excitement if you do poor in drawing. So, not a horrible game, not bad, but it falls in that unhappy area where it's okay, and there are better games out there. That's GemPacked cards. I almost said GemPacked gems. GemPacked cards. Dice Tower Judgment, pretty, but full of air.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
There.